Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So Rambai requested that for today's program, we go back to basics. That means Bhagavad-gita as it is, and Rambai selected the 14th chapter entitled The Three Modes of Material Nature. Before we begin, I would ask you to please recite after me, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And of course, my two favorite mantras, Trinadapi Sunichena, Tarad Iva Sahishnuna, Amanina Manadena, Kirtaniya Sadahari. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama Vakivalam, Kalo Nastyeva, 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 Gatir Anyata. So the three modes of material nature, mode of goodness, sattva, mode of passion, rajas, and the mode of ignorance or darkness, tamas. In my analysis of the 14th chapter, I have broken it out into 3 sections. First 5 verses I entitle The Fundamental Principles to Understand the Modes of Nature. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, Parang Bhuya Pravakshyami, Jnananang Jnanam Uttamam, Yajgyatva Munayat Sarve, Parang Siddhim Ito Gata. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Again I shall declare unto you this knowledge, this supreme wisdom, the best of all knowledge, knowing which the sages have all attained the supreme perfection. So in this concept of Parang Siddhim, for the impersonalist, because there are 3 kinds of transcendentalists. So Parang Siddhim for the impersonalist is Brahman, which will be discussed by Krishna in the final verse of this chapter, Brahman. So for the impersonalist, the Jnani, the Parang Siddhim is to merge with the supreme Brahman. For the yogi, the true yogi, his Parang Siddhim is to actually visualize and meet Paramatma, Krishna, in the heart. But for the bhakta, for the devotee, Parang Siddhim means entrance into Vaikuntha. There are innumerable Vaikuntha or spiritual planets, such as Ayodhya Loka, the residence of Lord Ram. And there's a planet for Vamana, for Narayan, for Trivikram. So all the different, there are innumerable Vaikuntha planets. But the topmost, the supreme spiritual planet, is Krishna's own abode, known as Goloka Vrindavan, which has 4 neighborhoods. There is Dwaraka, there is Mathura, there is Vrindavan, and there is also Navadweep. That is confidential. We will discuss that at a later time. So that's Parang Siddhim, to achieve one of those superior destinations. Idang Jnanam Upasritya Mama Sardham Agagta Sargepi Nopajayante Pralayena Vyatanticha. By becoming fixed in this knowledge, one can attain to the transcendental nature like my own, and thus established. One is not born at the time of creation or disturbed at the time of dissolution. So this line here, one can attain to my transcendental nature. Krishna's transcendental nature, Sat, Chit, Ananda. That is Krishna's transcendental nature. As spirit soul, we also have Sat, Chit, and Ananda. But the problem is, because we are trying to enjoy through this body, our original Sat, Chit, Ananda is lost. And we will learn this at the end of this chapter. You have to transcend this material body, and then you regain your transcendental nature like Krishna. And that is the whole goal of this Bhagavad-gita, to once again achieve, to regain your transcendental nature, which is exactly like Krishna. Mama yonir mahad brahma, tasmin garbang dadamyaham, sambhava sarvabhutanam, tato bhavati bharata. The total material substance, which is called Brahman, is the source of birth. And it is that Brahman that I impregnate, making possible the births of all living beings, O son of Bharata. And the next verse coincides with this verse. Sarva yonishu kaunteya murtaya sambhavantiya tasang brahma mahad yonir ahang bija pradak pita. It should be understood that all species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, and that I am the seed-giving Father. So, this verse is clearly indicating that we are part and parcel of Krishna. We come from Krishna. We are all Krishna's parts and parcels. As the language here, seed-giving Father. So we are all part and parcel of Krishna. Just like in America, they have this day, Father's Day. So yes, in the spiritual sense, Krishna is the original Father from whom everyone comes from. He is our original Father. Now, it also stated here that we are taking birth in this material nature. So this was explained in a previous class that I recently gave, that Goddess Durga is the material mother or the material god, and Lord Shiva is the actual person who impregnates the living entities, the seeds, Krishna's seeds. They are actually placed into the womb of material nature, Durga, by Lord Shambhu. So the original seed-giving Father is Krishna, but to get the living entities into the material world, Goddess Durga accepts the intercourse with Shambhu, and by that union, all the living entities are placed within the womb of material nature and are then given appropriate bodies by Lord Brahma. That is his function. He gives the particular body to the living entity according to the living entity's previous desires and karma. Sattvang rajas tama iti guna prakriti sambhava nibadnanti mahabaho dehe dehinam avyayam. Material nature consists of three modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. When the eternal living entity comes in contact with material nature, one becomes conditioned by these modes. So it is just like what's happening right now. If someone gets infected by the coronavirus, then one suffers the consequences. So in the same way, as soon as we contact one of the modes of nature, we become conditioned. We will learn in this chapter the qualitative differences between goodness, passion, and ignorance. That's not the same. The conditions of being contaminated by goodness, passion, and ignorance is different. And Krishna advises us in this chapter. What are the symptoms? That'll be the next section. So this next section, verses 6 through 18, is an analysis of these three modes of nature. Tatra satvang nimalatvat, prakashakam manamayam, sukha sangena badnati, jnana sangena chanaga. O sinless one, Arjuna, the mode of goodness being purer than the others is illuminating and frees one from all sinful reactions. Those situated in the mode of goodness also become conditioned by a sense of happiness and knowledge. So notice Krishna said it's purer than the others. So the whole target of Vedic study is to situate oneself in this mode of goodness, because from the mode of goodness you can achieve liberation, moksha or mukti. That's not possible from the mode of passion and ignorance. You have to be situated in the mode of goodness, and then, as we will learn at the end, you transcend this mode of goodness to achieve your liberated condition. Still, even though the mode of goodness is purer than the other two, still it's conditioned. Rajo ragatmakam vidhi trishna sanga samudbhavam tad nibadnati kaunteya karma sangena dehinam. The mode of passion is born of unlimited desires and longings, and because of this, the embodied living entity is bound to material, fruitive actions. So now this Bhagavad-gita is pointing out the symptoms. Just like I'm sure you have read over and over again the symptoms of the coronavirus. And if you notice you have the symptoms, then you act upon it immediately. So Bhagavad-gita is pointing out, you can tell that you are in the mode of passion by this: unlimited desires and longings. If that is your symptom, you're in the mode of passion. Tamastu agyana jang vidhi mohanang sarva dehinam pramadalasya nidrabis tan nibadnati bharata. O son of Bharat, the mode of darkness, which is born of ignorance, is the delusion of all embodied living entities. The results of this mode are madness, indolence, laziness, and sleep, which bind the conditioned soul. So, do you have these symptoms? Madness, laziness, sleeping more than necessary, oversleeping. If you have these symptoms, then you know you are affected by this mode of ignorance. Satvang suke sanjayati rajakarmani bharata jnanam avrityututama pramade sanjayatya ukta. O son of Bharat, the mode of goodness conditions one to happiness. Passion conditions one to fruitive action, and ignorance, covering one's knowledge, binds one to madness. So Bhagavad-gita is not stories. Bhagavad-gita is philosophy. Bhagavad-gita means it's a science textbook. And in this chapter, as in many other chapters, Krishna is giving you the pros and the cons and the symptoms, and so that you can judge for yourself what you need to do. Rajas tamas chabibhuya sattvang bhavati bharata. Rajas sattvang tamas chaiva tamaksavam rajastata. Sometimes the mode of goodness becomes prominent, defeating the modes of passion and ignorance. Sometimes the mode of passion defeats goodness and ignorance. And at other times, ignorance defeats goodness and passion. In this way, there is always competition for supremacy. So this is why peace is so difficult to achieve in the material world. It is because these three modes of nature are constantly in flux. It is just like being on a boat in the ocean. After I finish this second section, Krishna Kumar is going to sing my favorite bhajan, Bhaja Hure Mana. And there it is mentioned how Bhava Sindhu, material existence, is compared to an ocean. So the waves of that ocean are the waves of goodness, passion, and ignorance. And as pointed out, these waves, these modes, are sometimes defeating one another. So that's one reason why there is no peace in this material world. Stock market goes up, stock market goes down. In your home, in your families, everything is good, then everybody's fighting. It happens, even with me and my wife. No exemption. Because we're all affected to a lesser or greater degree by these modes of nature. But by living a proper life according to Bhagavad-gita, you can situate yourself in the mode of goodness, and the disturbance caused by passion and ignorance becomes minimized. Let us continue. Sarva dvareshu dehesmin prakasha upajayate jnanam yada tada vidyad vridvidhang sattvam ityuta. The manifestations of the mode of goodness can be experienced when all the gates of the body are illuminated by knowledge. So this was also mentioned in the earlier part of Bhagavad-gita, the gates of the body. So you have 2 nostrils, 2 eyes, 2 ears, mouth, genital, rectum. These are the gates, 9 gates of the body. So if you're in the mode of goodness, then these gates of the body are illuminated by knowledge. You're happy, content, you're not suffering. That will tell you how you are in the mode of goodness, or living in the mode of goodness. Lobha pravrittir aramba karmanam ashamaspriha rajasi etani jayante vivridde bharatarshava. Going back to the previous shloka, before doing this program, I did a half-hour kirtan via Facebook Live with a temple in Australia. So after my kirtan, the host wrote me a message saying, "Oh, your wife looks so young." I said, "Yes, even though she's 64, because she's lived the major portion of her life in the mode of goodness, that's why she still looks young and beautiful." So there are, material world is cause and effect. If you live according to the mode of goodness, you will show those symptoms. O chief of the Bharatas, when there is an increase in the mode of passion, the symptoms of great attachment, fruitive activity, intense endeavor, and uncontrollable desire and hankering develop. This is so typical of the ordinary conditioned soul in Kali Yuga. Everyone is under the mode of passion. Great attachment. So a good example, Ravana. Ravana had great attachment for Sita. He could not give it up. And he had an intense endeavor to get Sita, so much so that he went to war just so that he could try to enjoy Sita. And he had uncontrollable desire. His ministers, his advisors, his own brother, Vibhishan, his counselors, all warned him time and time and time again, give up this attachment for Sita. But Ravana, being under the mode of passion and ignorance, uncontrollable desire, even he could not give it up, therefore he had to die. Aprakasho pravittischa pramado moha evacha tamasye tani jayante vivridde kuru nandada. When there is an increase in the mode of ignorance, darkness, inertia, madness, and illusion are manifested. Krishna is pointing out the symptoms. It's up to us to act accordingly. Just at the end of Bhagavad-gita, one of my favorite lines, Yatechyasi tata kuru. Throughout Bhagavad-gita, Krishna is giving so many hints, so many suggestions, pointing out the pros and the cons. But at the end, he tells Arjuna, I have told you everything. Now you do as you like. Yata icha tata si. As you like, you do. So Krishna has given all of us free will, minute independence. Krishna is not forcing us to do anything. It's up to you what you want to do. After hearing this chapter, if you want to live in the mode of goodness, then you will do that. Otherwise, if you still have unlimited desires and longings to enjoy this material world, there's the mode of passion for you. And if you want to stay intoxicated and not work, lazy, and sleep all day, then you'll be in the mode of ignorance. And soon we will see the results. But Krishna gives us free will to choose. We choose. I choose. You choose. Do I want to live in the mode of goodness? Do I want to live in the mode of passion or the mode of ignorance? Yada sakde pravidde tu pralayang yati dehabrit tadottama vidang lokang amalang patipadyate. When one dies in the mode of goodness, one attains to the pure, higher planets of the great sages. So this is the reward of living your life in the mode of goodness. You go upwards to the heavenly planets and beyond. Still in the material realm, but in the higher planets, the stringent conditions of material existence are not the same. Just like even here in California, you can live in a nice area like Yorba Linda or Placentia, or you can live in a very harsh region, downtown, or in the ghetto, South Central. Depends. They're not all the same. So, living in the higher planets, that's like living in Malibu, Beverly Hills. Nice. Pacific Palisades. Rajasi pralayang gyatva karma sangishu jayate tata pralina stamasi muda yonishu jayate. When one dies in the mode of passion, one takes birth among those in fruitive activities. So yes, if you die and your consciousness is predominantly the mode of passion, you come back as a human being and you start where you left off, continuing. You want to enjoy this material world? Fine. But you'll have to, after one life, you have to come back and continue again. Again, go to school. Again, all the different trials and tribulations of material existence. And when one dies in the mode of ignorance, one takes birth in the animal kingdom. Yes, if one lives in the mode of ignorance, that means one wasted the valuable human life. One spoiled the opportunity. That's like sometimes when your children were young, you gave them some money, and depending on how they spent it, you either gave them more money or you said, no, you wasted the money on nonsense. No more money for you. You had to teach them valuable lessons. So Krishna is the same way. If one gets the human form but spoils it simply for eating, sleeping, defending sex life, then Krishna says, okay, you should go to the animal kingdom where there are no restrictions. You can eat what you want, you can mate whatever you want, no restrictions in animal life. Human being, there's restrictions, laws. Karnamana sukritas yahu, satvikam nirmalang phalam, rajasastu phalang dukam, agyanam tamasa phalang. The result of pious action is pure and is said to be in the mode of goodness. Yes, all the Vedas are teaching us always perform pious activities. It's for your interest. When you are encouraged to perform religious pious activities, it is for your interest, for your benefit. But action done in the mode of passion results in misery, and action performed in the mode of ignorance results in foolishness. Satvat sanjayate jnanam, rajaso loba evacha, pramada mohau tabaso, bhavato jnanam evacha. From the mode of goodness, real knowledge develops. From the mode of passion, greed develops. And from the mode of ignorance develops foolishness, madness, and illusion. Urdvang gachanti satvasta, madhye tishtanti rajasa, jaghanya guna vrittista, adho gachanti tamasa. Those situated in the mode of goodness gradually go upward to the higher planets. The sun, the moon, Venus, like that. There are 7 higher planetary systems. The Earth is in the middle, and 7 lower planetary systems. So if you're in the mode of goodness, then you get to go to the higher planets. Those in the mode of passion live on the earthly planet, and those in the abominable mode of ignorance go down to the hellish worlds. Nanyang gunebhya kartarang yada drastanu pashyati gunebhyascha parang veti madbhavam sodigachati. When one properly sees that in all activities no other performer is at work than these modes of nature, and when one knows the Supreme Lord, who is transcendental to all these modes, one attains my spiritual nature. So this verse is pointing out something that's mentioned elsewhere in Bhagavad-gita. Actually, you, the soul, is doing nothing in this material world. I think I mentioned this last time. You, the soul, is actually doing nothing because material existence is a dream. So what's going on is that the modes of nature are interacting. As a spirit soul, we have given power of attorney of the soul over to the material mind. So everything that's happening is simply going on in the mind. The mind is material. The mind is not you. So the soul has given power of attorney, and the soul is experiencing the movie of life. It's just like you go to the cinema or you turn on the TV. You're just watching. You're not doing anything. But you can become so absorbed in the movie that sometimes, yes, because you become so absorbed, you identify with the movie. But then somebody tells you, hey, it's just a movie. It's not real. So material existence is like that. It's a movie. But because we identify so tightly, like the movie, we think, oh, this is really happening. Oh my God. But actually it's not. The soul is actually doing nothing. What's happening is the modes of nature are interacting. So that's the first two parts of this section. We'll take a break here, and Krishna Kumar will sing Bhaja Hure Mana. Let's finish up now. We are now in the final section of chapter 14, the three modes of nature. And I entitled this section, Transcending the Modes of Nature. So it says here in verse 20, Gunan etan atitya trin, dehi deha samud bhavan, janma mrityu jara dukaya, vimukto mritam ashnute. When the embodied being is able to transcend these three modes, which are associated with the material body, one can become free from birth, death, old age, and their distresses, and can enjoy nectar even in this life. So, the goal of life is not to live in the mode of passion and come back again and take another human birth. Because even if they solve this coronavirus, there'll be another one coming very soon. So this is what it means to live in the material world, especially as a human being. Birth, death, old age, and disease. So if one wants to go where there's no disease, then you have to become transcendental. That's the viewpoint of Bhagavad-gita. As Krishna says, if you're able to transcend. So now, at this point in this chapter, Arjuna has a question. Arjuna uvacha, Kaya lingais trin gunan etan, atito bhavati prabho, kim achara katang chaitams, trin gunan ati vartate. My dear Lord, by which symptoms is one known who is transcendental to these three modes? What is one's behavior? And how does one transcend the modes of nature? So three questions here. First of all, what are the symptoms? As I said earlier, how do you know you have coronavirus? By the symptoms. So Arjuna wants to know, what are the symptoms of a transcendental person? This same question was asked in chapter 2. Same question. What are the symptoms of a transcendental person? It's not a mystery. There are symptoms. You can read about these symptoms in the Srimad Bhagavatam. You can tell who is transcendental and who is a joker, who is a pretender. You can tell by the symptoms. Next question, what is the behavior? Yes, a liberated person is going to act differently than a person in the mode of ignorance. For sure, different than a person in the mode of passion, and similar to a person in the mode of goodness, but there will be some differences in one's behavior. So if you know what are the behavioral characteristics, by studying Gita and Bhagavatam, you can tell this person is a qualified spiritual master, because I see he is transcendental and he has the behavior of a saintly person. He's not a magician or an entertainer. No, those are not the symptoms. You have to have specific symptoms. But the third question of Arjuna is the most important of the three. How does one transcend? That's the real question. How do I transcend? Otherwise, what's the point? After hearing this chapter and hearing all the symptoms, okay, now I know, but one should know how to transcend the modes. That's the most important question. How do I do it? How do I become liberated? How do I become free? That is the whole purpose of human life. Atato Brahma Jigyasa, first line of Vedanta Sutra. Inquire about the absolute truth. Transcend the mode. How do I do it? So the remaining of the chapter, Krishna answers these three questions. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, Prakasham cha Barfinting cha, Moham eva cha Pandava, Nadvesti samparvittani, na verdvittani kangshati, Udasina vadasino, Gunaryo na vichalyate, Guna vartante ityevang, Yo vatishtati nangate, Samadhuka sukha svasta, Samalostashma kanchanaha, Tulya priya priyo dhiras, Tulya nindatma sanstuti, Mana pamanayos tulyas, Tulyo mitrari pakshayo, Savaramba parityagi, Gunatita sa uchite. Krishna answered Arjuna's question. O son of Pandu, one who does not hate illumination, attachment, and delusion when they are present, nor long for them when they disappear, who is unwavering and undisturbed through all the reactions of material qualities, remaining neutral and transcendental, knowing that the modes alone are acting. Again, what we discussed in the previous section. What's going on here is just the interaction of the modes. Stand back and don't get involved in the movie. Who is situated in the self and who regards alike happiness and distress, who looks upon a lump of earth, a stone, and a piece of gold with an equal eye. Yes, if you want liberation, you can't be interested in gold. That cannot be your interest. You have to have a complete spiritual interest. So, these are the symptoms. One who is steady, situated equally in praise, blame, honor, and dishonor. You might recall the incident where Daksha was cursing Lord Shiva in an open assembly. Lord Shiva remained silent. He was undisturbed. He himself did not retaliate. His followers, yes, but Lord Shiva himself remained peaceful. He did not say anything in retaliation. He is an example of being in supreme goodness. And he is transcendental. Who treats a friend, an enemy, the same. Who has renounced all material activities. Notice, he's renounced material activities, not spiritual activities. The impersonalist does no spiritual activities. So he does not actually get liberated. He does not get permanent liberation. The impersonalist gets temporary liberation because he did not do spiritual activities. But the devotee does spiritual activities. Just like what we're doing here. This is a spiritual activity. You are hearing, I am chanting. This is a spiritual activity. To somebody less informed, he thinks, oh, he's speaking, he's on the video. I also can go on the video and talk nonsense. Talk about hydrochloroquine and so many nonsense things. There's a difference between material activities and spiritual activities. What we are doing, this is spiritual activities. Such a person is said to have transcended the modes of nature. Now this next verse is the answer to Arjuna's question, how to become liberated, how to transcend. This verse is one of the top 10 Bhagavad-gita verses. You memorize this next verse and learn it word for word. You are pakka. So this verse, so important to understand. The answer to Arjuna's question, how do I transcend the modes of nature? Manchayo vyabhicharena bhakti yogeda sevate sagunan samati yaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. So I know this verse so well, I'm going to just translate it myself for you line by line. Manchayo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate. Notice the word bhakti yogena. Here is the answer. You want to transcend the modes of nature? Krishna says bhakti yoga, devotional service. Krishna Kumar sang the final verse of his bhajan was the 9 processes of bhakti yoga. Hearing, chanting, remembering, praying, worshiping, befriending, serving, completely surrendering. 9 different processes. You do one perfectly, you are liberated. Just have to do one. Myself, I concentrate on hearing and chanting because they're the easiest. No paraphernalia is required. Simply have to have a mouth, 2 ears, you can do hearing and chanting. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, Krishna says here, bhakti yoga, you have to be engaged in devotional service, but avyabhicharena, without interruption. Not so easy. We might do devotional service for an hour, then after the hour, once again, material activities. But that means you're not going to be transcending. If you want to transcend, the devotional service has to be non-stop. Prabhupada gave me the name, Nirantara Das. So Nirantara means without cessation. So Prabhupada gave me this name in order to teach me, hey, you want to go back to Godhead, you want to transcend, you want to be liberated, then your bhakti yoga has to be nirantara, without satiation, continuous, moment to moment to moment. The next line, sagunan samati yaitan. If you can do this uninterrupted bhakti yoga, then you transcend the modes of nature. Sagunan samati, you surpass the modes of nature. You're above the modes. Brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Brahma bhuyaya kalpate means spiritual status equal to Krishna. Let that sink in. A spiritual status equal to Krishna, as he said in the beginning of this chapter. by studying this chapter, you will achieve a nature like my own. So that's called Brahma Bhuyaya, the liberated state, free from all kinds of material affection and free from any touch of the modes of nature. Your liberated condition, Brahma Bhuyaya. And actually, you regain it. You already had it, you forgot, you lost it, you fell down. So by doing this uninterrupted bhakti yoga, you regain your original status as a liberated person, as the same platform of Krishna. Krishna is ever liberated. When you engage in devotional service, you become ever liberated. We studied this a few weeks ago when we did another Singania program, and he was asking about the prayers of the personified Vedas. And at that time, we heard about Nitya Baddha and Nitya Mukta. So right now, we're Nitya Baddha, eternally conditioned. But if you do uninterrupted bhakti yoga, you once again become Nitya Mukta, eternally liberated. Stop doing devotional service? Okay, you're back again. Choice is yours, choice is mine. Do I want to stay on the liberated platform? Then hear, chant, remember, pray to Krishna. Final verse of the chapter. Also another very important shloka. This last shloka solves a lot of conundrums. Brahmano hi pratishtaham amritasyavya yasya cha shasvatasya cha dharmasya sukasya kantikasya cha. And I am the basis of the impersonal Brahman, which is immortal, imperishable, and eternal, and is the constitutional position of ultimate happiness. Brahmano hi pratishta aham. Krishna uses the Sanskrit word aham, I, signifying person. And Krishna is saying the Brahman, the Brahma Jyoti, this constitutional position of ultimate happiness, pratishta, is resting on me. There are some Hindus who believe that Krishna comes from the Brahman, but that contradicts what Krishna says. Krishna says the exact opposite. The Brahman rests on him, comes from him. So someone who thinks that Krishna is a manifestation of Brahman is spiritually dyslexic. It's very clear here. Brahmano he, certainly, the word he, certainly, Krishna is pointing out for emphasis. Do not think otherwise. Brahman, Brahma Jyoti, comes from me. It is the effulgence emanating from Krishna's body. So, the conclusion of this 14th chapter should be that one, yes, number one, I want to transcend the modes of nature. I don't want to come back, enter this material world, and have to go through quarantine again. Once is enough. So the desire should be, I don't want to come back to this material world. Even in the heavenly planets, no. I don't want to even go to heavenly planets. Because you'll read in Bhagavatam, the demigods are always being disturbed by the demons. There's no peace there. So many times you read how the demigods and demons are fighting. Because the demons are causing trouble. They're rascals. Same thing is going on in the world right now. So many rascals going on, causing disturbance. Not wearing masks. I call them rascals. Disturbing. causing great harm to everyone else. So, the intelligent person, after studying this chapter, I don't want to come back to this material world. I have to transcend the modes of nature. And Krishna gave the solution. Bhakti Yoga, devotional service. And it has to be done non-stop. So either you hear about Krishna, chant about Krishna, remember Krishna, read about Krishna, worship Krishna, pray to Him. So many prayers in Bhagavatam. How to pray to Krishna. Worship Krishna in your home altars. Do service. It's like Krishna Kumar, Shiv, Rambai. They are doing service for Radharaman temple. That's devotional service. And so Krishna Kumar, I think you are doing uninterrupted devotional service because Radharaman temple is keeping you busy 24 hours a day, I think. So, you have to come to the point of rendering devotional service. Pick one. Pick either. Me, I recommend hearing and chanting. They're the easiest. Anytime you want. Hare Krishna. You can read. Okay, thank you very much. Japa class will be by our sponsor, Shriman Ram Singhania. Hare Krishna.